you of a dream that I have had. This is Dream Journal Numero 3. So, this dream that I had, I must tell you, it was, wait, someone else is coming in, taking over. Oh, sorry, I don't know where I was just now, but anyways, hi. I think I was talking about a dream or something. I feel like I was going to tell you guys about a dream, right? Dream. So dream. I had a dream last night, and basically, I just want to tell you about it. it was, I don't remember everything about it, but I remember a couple things. So one thing that I remember about it, it was like, I went to this far off land, and it was like this place, it was like, I don't know, it was like some place, it was like barren. Oh my god, this is reminding me of another dream I had, but anyways, barren, kind of like wasteland almost, like for the most part, and then like flat lands, like plains for a long time, and then like mountains in the distance, and then nearby there was like this crystal cavern, like these huge crystals that were like jutting up from the ground, if I am remembering correctly, and just like creating this like this cavern, this cave, and it was like the crystals were jutting into each other to create this like small opening or actually kind of maybe a rather large opening where you could enter into the cavernous part of it, where there was a cave, and the crystals were like, you know, magic and glowing, incredible. And then the mainland was like clean and pristine and taken care of, like manicured. It was like this garden, like the secret garden tower, like this magical castle that was like huge, and most of it was elevated up to the second level, and it was like this like mound of dirt that the castle was on almost, and the mound of dirt was like a block, like very manicured, but then like walls on the side of it, so it looked like it was like a whole tower. Like that was kind of the vibe. And basically the first thing I remember is that there was like this long hallway that I was looking down, but it was like a hallway of trees. Like it was like a tree hallway, a tree archway, a tree sort of canopy, is that the right word? But just sort of a manicured, more or less, tree hallway, and it was this cute, gorgeous, you know, soft little path. Like it was kind of like a dirt path, but maybe had some stone work on it too, like an old forgotten path, maybe, kind of thing, that was going through on the bottom of this, the bed of this tree hallway, tree tunnel, and I looked down this tree tunnel very far, and this lady, this little old lady, this character, she was a character, you know, like she had this incredible personality that was very flavorful. She was coming out of her like little home, and she looked down the tree hallway as well, like towards the right, and like that was the first time we met, and like ever since then I feel like we just instantly, we like our souls recognized each other, and we became like long-time friends. That was like the feeling of it. It was a very feely, touchy kind of dream, where it's like you feel that situations happen more so than situations actually happened, if that makes sense. So yeah, and so like I think I like rushed over to her or something, or said hello, and like, or something like that, but like maybe not on the first time, because we actually met. The same scenario happened like later on in the dream, where she came out and I looked at her and I was like, hey, it's whatever her name was, like it was like, it's Figgy or something. Her name was something like that, like Figgy. And she's like, what? How do you know me? And I was like, I couldn't, like, I was so happy to see her, and then she didn't recognize me, and I think it was because I knew, I feel like it was kind of a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe kind of world, where like if you leave it, like the world like goes by much faster or something, or has like a different time scale that it operates on than the normal world. And so anyways, like I somehow like, or maybe the whole world like just does itself on replay or something, because like she just didn't know that I was a friend of hers. She didn't know that we were longtime friends. And so that was a deer moment. That was really incredible. I almost wanted to stop by and look at the deers, eye gaze at them, but I felt like that would disrupt the video. So anyways, wow, incredible. Wow, I can't believe it. Oh my god, you never know what you're gonna run into. And then, so yeah, I met her like later on in the dream, and I was like, I think that's when I rushed over to her, and I was like, hey, it's Miss Figgy. Hey, Miss Figgy. And she was like, who are you? And I was like, what? And I was like, you don't remember me? And she's like, no. And I was like, wow, well, I love you. Like, you're my favorite person here. So anyways, that was like part of the dream. And then like if we had kept on going up the pathway, because the pathway was kind of like slightly going uphill towards her. Like I was at the bottom end of the pathway and she was like way up at the upper part of it, upper echelon part of it. I gaze that buck. So anyways, if we kept on going up the path, there was like this tower part of the whole castle, and this tower was by the way, she came out of the door on the left side when I was looking up the pathway. So she came out on the left side of the pathway because that's where her house was. So like most of the castle was actually to the left, and like there was these little homes. It's like so hard to describe what the whole architecture looked like, but like these little stone, I felt like they were stone homes that were like raised above this pathway. And then there was the tree tunnel that was sort of on the edge of it, and the whole thing was elevated above the ground by a bunch. Yeah. And then, and if we kept on going up the path, there was like this castle, like classic sort of medieval kind of like conical tower, you know, and then with the classic like the bricks going, you know, up and down, where the archers could, you know, peek through the down parts and shoot, or they could hide behind the big up parts, you know. So like that was lining the rim of this tower. So we went to the tower, and it was like there was like 3 wizards. Like there was like this whole storyline in this place, and then there was like three wizards. Like two of them were, I feel like, were right there at that tower. One of them I feel like was good, like a good blue-robed wizard, and like one of them, like a jolly kind of wizard, and like I feel like kind of like the mad scientist almost kind of wizard, like huge personality, kind of going a little mad from all the magic. Very happy, giddy, you know, oh, yes, let's know the magic, like kind of personality, you know, like that, you know, like eccentric kind of type, and very, you know, expressive, and, you know, whimsical and laffy-taffy, and, you know, his eyes were probably going this way and that, you know, that kind of thing. And then the dark wizard, I think, was there, and he was kind of like, yeah, you know, like just being dark, just like classic, like, and then there was like a wizard in another tower that I don't even know what his vibe was, but just like another wizard. And so then, like, at one point, I had this, like, so feeling that, like, where we went was, like, all the way back down the path where I started, down the tree tunnel path, and then continued down, sort of, now that we're going that way, turn right and go down kind of this dirt path, and it's sort of like this dirt spiral staircase, but it's more just like a spiral ramp, because there was no stairs. It's more like just like a spiral ramp, but like over the edge of the spiral ramp was like pure lava, just like lava, like shooting up and down and stuff. And I think like some of the spiral ramp was like broken, because like we couldn't actually go all the way down the spiral ramp. And so like I think I kind of like hopped onto the back of the wizard. I think it was like the Laffy Taffy wizard, the blue-robed wizard, and somehow he could like fly. And so we were like slowly flying down to like the landing, you know, some landing that we had to go beyond, over the spiral pathway to like where it was supposed to land or something like that. And I don't know why, like I don't know why we were doing any of that. And then I think the wizard might have had mini wings, and that's how he was able to do this or something. Or maybe he had a dragon with him, or maybe he was in a bubble. I don't know. Or maybe he could just fly like Peter Pan. So anyways, and then, yeah, that was kind of like, and I feel like we were like slowly getting away from the evil wizard for some reason. Like I don't know why he couldn't catch up to us, but maybe he was like playing with his food kind of thing. Like, I don't know. And then, so yeah, I guess it was like just this weird hodgepodge of vibes, this dream. And then the other weird vibe that I remember that came from the stream was like, I felt like the first time I entered this place, it was kind of like entering Faerie, because it was like this idea of like, you don't know when you've entered Faerie. Like, you can't pinpoint exactly when it was that you entered Faerie, but at a certain point you realize, oh, I'm in Faerie. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't pinpoint, there wasn't like some magic door that you went through. It's like obviously separating Faerie world from the physical world. But even so, there must have, you know, like there's at some point you were in the physical world, the like normal world, and at some point you were in this Faerie realm, you know, wherever this is. But and you don't really know at what point it transformed from the normal realm to the Faerie realm. So I guess that's kind of the vibe of this place, and it almost felt like the world itself that I was in was slowly transforming into Faerie, like day by day. So it wasn't that I walked into a separate world that was Faerie world. It was like the world itself was just slowly turning into Faerie world. But it was this Faerie world, like a very particular Faerie world. It was this Faerie world that was actually kind of not fully Faerie world, because like I feel like the mad wizard, or the bad mad wizard, maybe he's also mad, but the bad wizard, the dark wizard, the warlock, shall we say, probably is the reason why it became like a barren wasteland, I feel like. But I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't all, you know, happy and roses and rainbows. And you know, if you're familiar with Faerie land and like, you know, the story of Faerie, you know that it isn't all rosies and rainbows, you know, in fairyland. There's some, you know, mischief for sure, but also some dark magic too that can accompany fairy tales. Well, we'll say fairy tales, you know, but fairyland can just be a very magical, happy, high vibe place. I'd say usually it is, but I guess what I was trying to say is that fairy tales, specifically the tales we tell about entering fairy, or, you know, fairy tales, can and usually do have that sort of dark aspect that is like part of the lesson learned. You know, someone wants something deeply, or someone wants something to change very badly, and fairy's able to do it, but at what price, you know? Or you think fairy's just all ponies and rainbows and magic, and so then you just go in, you know, without a care in the world. But you have to be careful, because fairy can kind of eat you up, you know, and you have to watch out sometimes. But I don't like that vibe. Like, I don't know, you know, like, I don't like that so much. Like, I like the high vibe fairy land, where it's just it is just very high vibrational, and there's just a lot of celestial and fairy beings and magical beings, and yeah, there's a little bit of mischief here and there, and, you know, hoo-hoo, but it's all just in good fun, you know. So that was my dream. I hope you enjoyed listening in this dark atmosphere. Oh.